and then looking at a different war, the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, which has been happening now for over 3 years. President Trump on the campaign trail said that if he were president, he would end the war in a day. And we're still waiting for that day. And it seems like his patience is wearing thin with Russian President Vladimir Putin. He has adopted a tougher tone. And he has a joint announcement that he made this week. And I know that this poll was taken before that announcement, but I'm curious. I'm going to read what the announcement was, and then I want to see where the poll said and see what the temperature would be from that announcement, because he threatened Russia with some economic pain if they did not reach a peace deal with Ukraine in the next 50 days. He threatened them with 100% tariffs. He also threatened secondary tariffs, is what he called them, on different countries that are buying Russian oil. He also announced this roundabout plan where the United States would sell NATO allies weapons, and then those NATO allies would then, in turn, give them to Ukraine. Based on the poll, is there an appetite from the American voters for those types of plans?
Yes, Trump is giving voters on this issue exactly what they are asking for. And it's actually one of the few issues out there that there is cross party alignment across Democrats, Republicans, and independents on. Simply put, 73% of voters believe that Vladimir Putin is playing games and he doesn't want to end the war. And that includes three-fourths of Democrats, two-thirds of Republicans, and over three-fourths of independents. Whereas when you ask them about the Ukrainians and Zelensky, the numbers flip, and they genuinely believe that Zelensky and his team want to end the war. So it's not just Donald Trump, it's American voters as well that are done with Putin's rope-a-dope strategy and are basically starting to draw a red line for him and for Russia. And again, we also asked the question, even though it was before the announcement, should the Trump administration continue to provide weaponry to Ukraine and impose further economic sanctions on Russia if it refuses to negotiate and prolongs the bloodshed, or should it not do so for fear of antagonizing Russia? 65%, two-thirds, said continue to provide weaponry and impose sanctions. And that includes 70% of Democrats, 66% of Republicans, and 60% of independents. We also asked, should Ukraine receive direct security guarantees from the United States if it makes concessions to end the war with Russia proactively? Two-thirds would support that. Again, unanimous agreement across the different parties. We asked, do you think Donald Trump has been too tough or not tough enough with Vladimir Putin? 60% believe that he hasn't been tough enough, including 73% of Democrats, 58% of independents, and also half of all Republicans. They have 48%, and it's a plurality opinion. And then finally, and I think that this is the most interesting and most important question in the series that we're on, is which relationship is more valuable to the United States? The relationship with Ukraine, which has offered 50-50 profit share on trillions of dollars in minerals and is keeping Russian aggression in Europe at bay, or the relationship with Russia, which is a nuclear power and a possible counterweight to China. Today, 72%, and that number has been growing every single month, say that the relationship with Ukraine is more important than the relationship with Russia, including 70% of Republicans, 76% of Democrats, and 68% of independents. So the picture seems to have shifted when it comes to the Ukraine-Russia conflict. Will this last? Will Trump stay the course? Who knows? But this is one of the few areas where there is unanimous consensus amongst voters, whether they're Republicans, Democrats, or independents, that the United States must stand with Ukraine, and that Ukraine is the friend of the United States in this dyad between Ukraine and Russia and within this conflict. So, very interesting picture. And through his recent actions, Trump is actually giving voters exactly what they're asking.
And I think this poll paints a very interesting picture of where voters are, where their sentiment is 6 months into President Trump's second term. We will end it there. Dritan, Nesho, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you breaking down these numbers and providing your insights here. I hope to have another conversation soon.
See you soon. Thank you.